Having us.
It's a week-long festival. Seems like a mammoth logistical operation, because just seeing a couple of the guys who are here today, I can see that it's quite a big production. Tell us what goes into the behind the scenes before we start unpacking the finer details.
There's of course a lot of preparation. We normally take a whole year to plan not only for the logistics but the actual artistic content. So we're looking at inviting artists, thinking of the annual theme, which is one of the important trademarks of this festival. We're looking at inviting orchestras, chamber ensembles, negotiating programs, negotiating contracts and so forth.
Yeah, and what's the theme this year?
It's Papageno and Papagena. Papageno is one of these very funny characters in Mozart's The Magic Flute. He's actually the sidekick of Tamino, so they're all out to rescue the beautiful princess. And Papageno later on in the opera ends up finding his love mate, Papagena, also a bird woman. So that's why we called it Papageno and Papagena. And we're looking in this festival at the idea of male and female identities in music, or in a wider sense at opposites and contrasts.
I love that, and I think it speaks very beautifully to some of the social issues we face as a country, so it doesn't exist in isolation.
Absolutely.
That's part of a wider context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you did mention that the Venice New Year's concert has already taken place. 2 pre-event shows that have already been held?
That was last week, yeah, the 2 new Viennese New Year's concerts. And the festival starts officially tonight with Mozart's anniversary concert.
Yes. And how's it been thus far?
Excellent. We've had fantastic bookings. The last 2 concerts have been tremendous successes, and we look forward to a very action-packed and diverse week coming up.
Oh, just to, tantalize some people's taste buds, especially those who are interested in this music. A chamber music concert is coming up, a clarinet recital, family concert. It seems like we're absolutely spoiled for choice here. But, classical music is seldom associated with young people, and I'm so glad that there's some young people with us now here from Buscade. Tell me a little bit about Buscade, because I have encountered you guys, and there's a beautiful story of development when it comes to this organization. Do tell us more.
Well, we're celebrating our 21st anniversary this year. Rosemary Nalden, who's the founder and director of Buscade, started this project 21 years ago. We're based in Diepkloof in Soweto. We've got about 125 kids, including us. So, yeah, that's Buscade in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's not just about music, which in and of itself is a powerful medium of healing people, of really motivating young people, but the social intervention part of it as well. It's keeping youngsters off the streets. It's giving them something healthy and productive to do.
Definitely. I mean, both of us are teachers. He's a trainee teacher as well. So becoming a teacher, he thought it's just going to be music, but no, there's a lot of, as you said, social responsibility that comes with that. And especially in Soweto, in Diepkloof, we've got families, that are finding it difficult, and the kids come through. They come from school, and they've got problems at home, at school. So we also are there to assist them as well.
I love it. Now, Khotso,
yes.
How do you get in this kind of music? Because as I said a little bit earlier, we don't often associate young people with classical music. There's no scoots there. So how do you then attract the youngsters and say to them, hey, listen, this is something that we can get interested in?
Well, I mean, started off as young as I did, which was at the age of 4, right? Just people seeing me go there every day. Till this day, I'm 19, I still go there. They're still asking me, are you still going to that place? I'm like, yes, I am. So it's, as I walk by, parents are asking me, how do I join? How does my kid get to join, and how much it is, and all of that. So in essence, it's just setting an example, seeing someone go there, then it brings the next person into it as well.
I love it. And then how do we develop a culture of music appreciation among young people? So in the productions that you will be displaying as you begin, is there something that's age appropriate that you can say to young people, this one is for you, but you're still appealing to the taste of the older generation?
It's one of the trademarks of this festival. We have things like family concerts. We have a great wealth of educational initiatives, and that's going back to the idea, or to the realization, that a lot of classical music making throughout the globe has a certain museum touch. And given the wonderful energy in Johannesburg or in South Africa in a wider sense, I think one of the important features of the festival is to look at the vibrancy and the immediacy of music making. If we go back to Mozart in his own days, the vast majority of what he wrote was written for his own use, and he would normally play music of his immediate contemporaries. So the idea of going back these days to play the old masters isn't really what Mozart's own music making was about, and we try to translate that spirit into what the festival does in this day and age, in the 21st century.
Love it. How long has the festival been running for now?
9 years now.
9 years now. And to what can you attribute your longevity?
Well, we try and come up with new ideas every year. We have the annual themes, as I said, so that's a great platform to start with collaborations, with cooperations with different groups, including Busgate and many others. And it's about redefining the contents and redefining the context of what classical music is about, and trying to rope in all the wonderful energy that we have elsewhere. So the festival has a very important interdisciplinary focus as well. So we take on board improvisation, film, theatre, literature, contemporary South African art, and all these different ideas interact in one way or another.
And I suppose the fact that you've been going for 9 years now is also a bit of a challenge, because it then says you continuously have to grow, you continuously have to reinvent yourself so as to not only provide what viewers or audiences would like to see, but to also attract and sustain the funding. Is that something that has been a bit of a challenge for you?
It's not easy, but we've been very creative, and we have some very good support from international embassies, from local partners, and a lot of this is based on the generosity of artists as well. So I'm very good friends with a lot of the overseas artists, and they love to come to South Africa, particularly at this time of the year when the climate in Europe is just simply miserable. So they just enjoy coming out, and all of them bring to the festival tremendous energy and their preparedness to actually help along. And we've started some fantastic collaborations over the years. For instance, one of my good friends, Professor Prochka, came several years ago, and we started a vocal scholarship scheme in association with the Music University in Cologne. So every year we pick 1 or 2 vocal scholars, singers who get to study in Cologne for a whole year, and they've all gone on to have tremendous success in their careers.
Sure, that's incredible. We'll discuss the venues, because I believe there are 8 venues across Johannesburg. I'll ask about the dates and times in just a moment, but let's go back to you and ask perhaps what we can expect from Busgate, those who are looking out for you. Is there a particular piece that's your favorite that we can look out for?
It's a piece that actually we'll be playing a bit on later. Chevalier St. George. He was an 18th century composer known as the Black Mozart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is that one holding such a special place in your heart?
I suppose because when I found out, when Rosemary told us he was black, I was quite amazed back then to have he was born as a slave as well, and that story sort of fascinated me, and the piece just grew on me as well.
Indeed, and I must say, this is something that we were discussing with some of my colleagues, to say it's so refreshing to see that your team, the entire team that's here today, are black, and we think to ourselves, this is something that's very white, it's very colonial, and as you were playing the music so beautifully, my colleagues and I were just putting on a fake British accent, darling, we'll have tea with the Queen, because it's still very much stereotyped as something that's other than black. But do you think that we're having a little bit more of an appreciation? We're seeing the Soweto String Quartet, there is a bit of a culture that's beginning to develop.
Definitely. I think the culture has been there. Unfortunately, the resources have not always been there. And what Rosemary did with Busgate, the music school, has allowed a lot of students to come through the doors, and some have actually gone through overseas to study. And yeah, it's still a bit difficult for people to think of these instruments as instruments that can play any genre of music. We had a concert last year and we played a whole lot of different music, from classical pops to your normal pop music now, South African Kwela, South African Afro pop, so we can make any type of music with these.
I love it. House music, gom as well, possibly.
Not there yet.
Not there yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're slowly.
Talking about getting there, from the age of 4, now 19, what does the future have for you? I mean, when you look at this industry, is this something that you'd want to get into as a profession?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Like, of course, I'll go to school and do whatever, but this is like, once that's done with, back to this. Because, I mean, 15 years, can't just let go just like that,
Of course not.
So Yeah,
of course
it's just got a special place.
And we look forward to seeing your names in lights all over the world and not just here at home. So some of our greatest exports in the making. I can already see that there. But before we end off, let's quickly discuss the logistics. When and where the 8 different venues across Johannesburg, dates and times.
Well, Northwoods House, Linda Auditorium, Holy Trinity Church, Braamfontein. That's where their concert is next Saturday, 3rd of February, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got the Goethe Institute, we've got the Space Frame at the Linda Auditorium, we've got several things. So if I may suggest, the easiest way forward is to visit our website, which is join-mozart-festival.org.
Repeat that for us, please.
join-mozart-festival.org. And we're also on Twitter and on Facebook, and all the information is there.
Indeed. Thank you very much. You're quite right. That is the easiest way, because to try and memorize all that information will be very hard. But yeah, let's leave it there for the time being. Now, when we come back after the break, we'll bring you a live sample of what you can expect at the Johannesburg International Mozart Festival. Do stay with us.